God said tomorrow reveals what you have been avoiding, and this is not a threat, it is a law. Avoidance does not erase reality. It only delays the moment you must face it. Most people think time is on their side, but time is neutral. It does not protect you. And it does not warn you loudly. It simply moves forward, carrying your actions with it. What you avoid today does not disappear tonight. It waits. And when tomorrow comes, it does not come gently. It comes with clarity. You avoid pain because pain exposes weakness. You avoid silence because silence forces you to hear your own thoughts. You avoid discipline because discipline demands consistency when motivation disappears. And so you fill your days with noise, distractions, entertainment, and excuses. You tell yourself you are tired. You tell yourself you deserve rest. You tell yourself you will start when conditions improve. But conditions never improve for the undisciplined. They only become heavier. Tomorrow is not dangerous because something bad will happen. Tomorrow is dangerous because the truth becomes visible. When the mind no longer has space to hide, reality steps forward. You will notice how much time you waste. You will notice how often you choose comfort over growth. You will notice how weak your routines are, and this noticing hurts more than failure itself, because now you can no longer pretend. God said tomorrow reveals what you have been avoiding, because avoidance is the greatest form of self-betrayal. You already know what you must do. You already know which habits are destroying you. You already know which conversations you should have had, which boundaries you should have set, which actions you delayed. You don't need new information. You need courage. And courage is not loud. Courage is quiet, disciplined action repeated daily. Most people fear exposure because they confuse it with judgment. But exposure is not judgment. Exposure is feedback. Life shows you the result of your choices, not to shame you, but to correct you. If you feel uncomfortable tomorrow, it is not because you are failing. It is because you are waking up. And awakening is never comfortable. Comfort is for sleep. Growth belongs to discomfort. You have avoided responsibility by blaming circumstances. You have avoided effort by waiting for motivation. You have avoided consistency by starting and stopping repeatedly. Tomorrow removes these escape routes. Tomorrow forces a simple question into your mind. Are you living intentionally, or are you drifting? Drifting feels safe because it requires no decisions. But drifting always ends at places you never chose. God does not expose you to embarrass you. God exposes you so you can realign. But alignment only happens when you stop lying to yourself. You say you want peace, but you live chaotically. You say you want strength, but you avoid struggle. You say you want clarity, but you refuse to sit in silence. Tomorrow makes these contradictions visible. When avoidance ends, discipline begins. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is structure. It is the ability to do what must be done regardless of mood. It is the bridge between intention and reality. Without discipline, spiritual words mean nothing. Without discipline, motivation speeches fade. Without discipline, tomorrow looks exactly like yesterday. You may feel pressure tomorrow. That pressure is not external. It comes from the gap between who you are and who you know you should be. That gap widens every day you avoid action. Eventually the gap becomes pain, and pain demands attention. This is why tomorrow feels critical, not because something mystical happens, but because avoidance has reached its limit. You cannot outrun yourself forever. You cannot distract yourself endlessly. You cannot postpone growth without paying interest. Tomorrow is simply the day when the bill becomes visible. Some will panic. Some will complain. Some will numb themselves again. But a few will pause, breathe, and accept responsibility. Those few change their lives. God said tomorrow reveals what you have been avoiding, and this includes your potential, not just your flaws. You have avoided your own strength because strength demands accountability. When you realize what you are capable of, excuses die. When excuses die, responsibility begins. And responsibility is heavy for those who are untrained. You avoid early mornings because they demand order. You avoid training the body because it reveals weakness. You avoid controlling the mind because it exposes chaos. Tomorrow shows you these weaknesses clearly. Not to break you, but to give you a starting point. You cannot build without knowing where you stand. Many people ask for signs. This is the sign, not fireworks, not miracles, awareness. Awareness that you cannot continue the same way and expect a different outcome. Awareness that time is passing regardless of your readiness. Awareness that discipline delayed becomes suffering. God does not say tomorrow will destroy you. God says tomorrow will show you. And what you do after being shown determines everything. You can turn away again, but avoidance becomes heavier each time. Or you can stand still, face the discomfort, and take the first disciplined step. That step may feel small: waking up earlier, turning off distractions, training your body, cleaning your space, speaking honestly, keeping a promise to yourself. These actions seem simple, but they are rare. They separate those who transform from those who repeat cycles. Tomorrow is not about fear. It is about truth. And truth is neutral. It does not attack. It does not comfort. It simply is. When you align with it, life becomes lighter. When you resist it, life becomes heavy. You have avoided discomfort because you misunderstood it. Discomfort is not danger. Discomfort is instruction. It tells you where growth is required. Tomorrow places that instruction directly in front of you. Ignoring it will not make it disappear. Accepting it will begin your transformation. God said tomorrow reveals what you have been avoiding, because tomorrow demands maturity. Not emotion, not belief, maturity. The ability to act correctly even when it feels difficult. The ability to face yourself without excuses. The ability to choose discipline over desire. If tomorrow feels intense, do not panic. Intensity is clarity. Clarity is power. And power, when handled with discipline, changes destiny. Not suddenly, not magically, but inevitably. What you avoid controls you. What you face frees you. Tomorrow is the moment you decide which one you choose. God said discipline decides what you receive. And this truth is uncomfortable because it removes luck, removes excuses, and removes blame. It places everything back into your hands. People like to believe life is unfair because it protects them from responsibility. But life is precise. It responds exactly to how you live, not how you wish, not how you pray, not how you promise yourself you will change one day. It responds to what you do consistently. Discipline is not a personality trait. It is a daily decision. It is the choice to act correctly even when the mind resists. The mind will always resist discipline because discipline threatens comfort. Comfort wants to stay the same. Growth demands change. When you understand this, you stop fighting your resistance emotionally and start training it structurally. Most people want results without structure. They want peace without order. They want strength without training. They want respect without self-respect. Discipline is the bridge they refuse to cross. And then they ask why nothing changes. God does not withhold blessings. People block them with disorder. What you receive in life is not random. It is earned silently. Your body receives the result of how you treat it. Your mind receives the result of what you feed it. Your future receives the result of what you repeat. Discipline is the language life understands. Words do not move reality. Actions do. You wake up late and you say life is hard. You waste energy and you say you feel weak. You allow your mind to wander and you say you lack focus. These are not mysteries. These are outcomes. Discipline is not about force. It is about alignment. When your actions align with reality, resistance decreases. God said discipline decides what you receive because discipline builds trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, you strengthen inner authority. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken it. A weak inner authority creates chaos. A strong inner authority creates order. Life responds to order. Many people confuse discipline with punishment. They think discipline means suffering. This is why they avoid it. But lack of discipline creates far more suffering than discipline ever will. Discipline hurts briefly. Regret hurts daily. Discipline costs effort. Chaos costs your future. When discipline enters your life, excuses leave. You stop negotiating with your weakness. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop asking how you feel and start asking what is required. This shift is small, but it changes everything. The disciplined do not rely on emotions. They rely on systems. God does not reward intention. God responds to embodiment. If you say you want change, but your routine stays the same, nothing moves. Life does not listen to desire. It listens to behavior. Discipline turns desire into reality. You receive clarity when you discipline your attention. You receive strength when you discipline your body. You receive peace when you discipline your reactions. You receive respect when you discipline your word. Every reward is connected to a form of restraint. Freedom is born from control, not from indulgence. People fear discipline because it removes fantasy. Fantasy says someday everything will be different without effort. Discipline says today you must act regardless of feeling. Fantasy is comforting. Discipline is grounding. God favors those who are grounded. Discipline teaches you patience. Results do not appear immediately. This is where most people quit. They train for a week and expect transformation. They meditate twice and expect enlightenment. They act correctly for a moment and expect life to change. Discipline does not work on urgency. It works on consistency. God said discipline decides what you receive because discipline prepares you to hold what you ask for. Without discipline, success becomes destruction. Power without control corrupts. Opportunity without structure collapses. Many people are protected by their lack of success because they lack the discipline to handle it. Look at your life honestly. What you lack is connected to what you avoid doing consistently. If you lack stability, your routine is unstable. If you lack confidence, you break promises to yourself. If you lack progress, you lack structure. This is not judgment. This is instruction. Discipline trains your nervous system. When you choose discomfort voluntarily, life's discomfort becomes manageable. When you avoid discomfort, life forces it upon you. The disciplined suffer less because they suffer by choice. The undisciplined suffer more because they suffer by consequence. God does not ask you to be perfect. God asks you to be consistent. Perfection creates pressure. Consistency creates momentum. Momentum changes identity. When you repeatedly act with discipline, you no longer struggle to be disciplined. It becomes who you are. You do not rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. Discipline builds systems that carry you when motivation disappears. This is why disciplined people appear calm under pressure. They are not stronger emotionally. They are structured. God said discipline decides what you receive because discipline sharpens awareness. When your life is orderly, your perception becomes clear. When your life is chaotic, your mind becomes noisy. Silence is earned through structure. Discipline also teaches humility. You learn that progress is slow. You learn that effort is required daily. You learn that there are no shortcuts. This humility protects you from arrogance and disappointment. It keeps you grounded in reality. Every morning is a choice. Either you command your day or your impulses command you. Discipline is leadership over yourself. If you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead anything else. People say they want freedom, but they live without discipline. This is a contradiction. Freedom without discipline is slavery to impulse. True freedom is the ability to choose correctly even when tempted otherwise. God said discipline decides what you receive because discipline is respect for time. Time is life. When you waste time, you waste life. When you discipline time, life expands, not in hours, but in depth. If tomorrow you choose discipline, even in one small act, something shifts. Not externally at first, but internally. You feel grounded, you feel capable, you feel aligned. That alignment attracts stability. Do not wait for discipline to feel easy. It never will in the beginning. But neither does regret feel easy. Choose which discomfort you want to live with. God does not give more to those who ask louder. God gives more to those who are ready. Discipline is readiness. Discipline is proof. Discipline is devotion in action. What you receive tomorrow is already being decided today by how you live now. Discipline is not about controlling life. It is about controlling yourself. And when you control yourself, life responds. Discipline decides what you receive because discipline decides who you become. God said, "What you resist today returns stronger tomorrow," and this is one of the most misunderstood laws of life. Resistance feels like protection. You think by avoiding pain, avoiding responsibility, avoiding truth, you are keeping yourself safe. In reality, you are training the problem to grow. Whatever you refuse to face does not weaken. It accumulates strength in silence. Resistance is not strength. Resistance is delay. When you resist discomfort, you are not removing it from your life, you are postponing it. And postponed discomfort always returns with interest. A small ignored habit becomes a large destructive pattern. A quiet warning becomes a loud consequence. A gentle nudge becomes a forceful push. Most people resist because they want control without effort. They want life to change without them changing. So when life demands adjustment, they push back emotionally. They complain. They distract themselves. They numb themselves. They say, "No is not the right time." But time does not negotiate. Time only reveals. God said, "What you resist today returns stronger tomorrow," because resistance feeds fear. When you run from something, you tell your nervous system that it is dangerous. That danger grows in your mind. The task feels heavier. The conversation feels scarier. The discipline feels impossible. Not because it is, but because you trained your mind to fear it. Look at how problems grow when ignored. Health ignored becomes illness. Relationships ignored become resentment. Discipline ignored becomes chaos. Truth ignored becomes regret. None of these appear suddenly. They grow quietly while you look away. Resistance creates the illusion of peace. For a moment, you feel relief. You say, "I'll deal with it later." That relief is short-lived. Underneath it, tension builds. Your mind knows you are avoiding something important. That tension leaks into your sleep, your mood, your confidence. You feel heavy but don't know why. God does not punish resistance immediately. That would be merciful in a harsh way. Instead, life allows resistance to continue until the lesson becomes unavoidable. This is why tomorrow feels intense. Not because life is cruel, but because resistance has reached its limit. When you resist responsibility, you become dependent. When you resist discipline, you become unstable. When you resist truth, you become confused. Resistance weakens your inner authority. You start doubting yourself because you know you are not acting correctly. People think resistance is saying no to the world. In reality, resistance is saying no to yourself. You know what must be done. You feel it clearly. And every time you ignore that inner instruction, you fracture trust with yourself. That fracture widens over time. God said, "What you resist today returns stronger tomorrow," because life seeks balance. If you avoid voluntary discomfort, involuntary discomfort arrives. If you refuse to train yourself, life trains you harshly. If you avoid small challenges, you receive large ones. Resistance also distorts perception. The more you avoid something, the more dramatic it becomes in your mind. You imagine worst outcomes. You exaggerate difficulty. You convince yourself you are not ready. Meanwhile, disciplined people face discomfort early, when it is still manageable. You resist silence because silence reveals your thoughts. You resist structure because structure limits your impulses. You resist commitment because commitment removes escape routes. But these are exactly the things that stabilize you. Resistance keeps you free in the moment, but imprisoned long term. God does not ask you to face everything at once. God asks you to stop running. The moment you stop resisting, the problem loses power. When you turn toward discomfort instead of away from it, your nervous system learns that you can survive it. Strength is born in that moment. Tomorrow, whatever you have been resisting will knock louder. Not to harm you, but to demand resolution. The body demands care. The mind demands order. The soul demands alignment. Ignoring these demands does not silence them. It amplifies them. Resistance is exhausting. It consumes more energy than action. Holding something down takes constant effort. Facing it once takes courage, but afterward energy returns. This is why disciplined people appear calm. They are not carrying unresolved weight. God said, what you resist today returns stronger tomorrow, because resistance creates repetition. You repeat lessons until you learn them. Life is patient, but it is persistent. The same patterns return in different forms. Different people, different situations, same lesson. When you finally face what you resisted, you often realize it was never as dangerous as your mind made it. The suffering came from anticipation, not action. The fear came from imagination, not reality. Resistance magnified the pain. People ask why the same problems keep appearing in their lives. The answer is simple and uncomfortable, because the lesson was avoided, not learned. Life does not move on until alignment happens. God said stop resisting because resistance is rooted in ego. Ego says, I shouldn't have to do this. Discipline says, this must be done. Ego wants comfort. Discipline wants order. Life supports order. Tomorrow gives you a choice. Continue resisting and allow the pressure to increase, or face what you have been avoiding and reduce future suffering. Both paths involve discomfort. One leads to growth. The other leads to repetition. When you stop resisting, something unexpected happens. You feel lighter, not because life becomes easy, but because you are no longer fighting reality. You move with it instead of against it. God said what you resist today returns stronger tomorrow, because reality always wins. You can argue with it emotionally, but it does not listen. It only responds to action. Face the habit you've been avoiding. Face the routine you've been delaying. Face the truth you've been denying. Do it before tomorrow forces it upon you. Resistance ends where responsibility begins, and responsibility is the doorway to freedom. What you face weakens. What you avoid grows. Tomorrow simply reveals which one you chose.